We're back, people. We are back, your favorite. I'm telling you, I'm never lying when I say this. I wasn't lying last week. I wasn't lying the week before. I wasn't lying last year. I wasn't lying 2 years ago when we started this thing. When are you going to start believing me? I'm never lying when I say this. Your favorite sports podcast, roaming the airwaves, Rolling with Ramos, is back. I happen to be the one that holds the last name Ramos. I like to specifically thank my daddy for that. When Mike Ramos in heaven, there's not a day that goes by that I don't love you and miss you. I hope you see. I hope you know that. Episode 109. Episode 109. That's a lot of damn numbers, but I'm blessed for it. Episode 109. Normally, we name the episodes after the person that wore the jersey, at least the last number of the person who wore the jersey. Mm-hmm. We recircled around, but this week we took a break from it because we figure there's only one way to celebrate 109. Unless you've been living under a rock, unless you haven't been around for this past year, unless you haven't, what is the irony that this day is representative of the day that we'll talk about later? There's only one true essence and one way to celebrate episode 109. Episode 109, the Long Live Mamba edition. And to not be not talked about, because I can't talk about myself without talking about him. I don't care if you hear my voice. He is the star. Tristan, baby, we're back.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm definitely glad to be on today. Another episode, another week full of sports. Definitely glad for our special guest that's here. You're about to introduce her in a minute. And yeah, you know, as much as this is a somber day, we're going to have a great show. So yeah, let's get to it.
And you alluded to our special guest. She's no stranger to this show. She's literally a guest in our homes, as I point behind me. And you've been on here multiple times, so I'm not getting you a glass of water. You're getting it on your own. But she is the talented, the lovely host of About Nothing But Sports, and I said that so eloquently and straight. So
I'm so proud of you.
Anyways, Ashley Baker, because that's one hell of a tongue twister. What were you thinking? Ashley Baker, episode 109. You are rolling with Ramos.
Yes, I'm happy to be rolling with Ramos. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Y'all know I love being here. I always love my RWR family, and yeah, let's get it. Let's get into it. It's a lot to talk about.
Yep.
I did not prepare a show. This is the first time ever that I did not have to write notes. I didn't have to pull out my handy dandy notebook. Shout out to Blue's Clues. I didn't have to put these cartoons. These kids, what are they watching these days?
I have no idea.
It's
not
good. It's just not
good.
We
had some good
quality.
Here.
We had great stuff. There's no quality.
We had quality.
Oh yeah.
No. Now they talking about on Mary Had a Little Lamb. Man, we were watching Lamb Chop.
Hello.
Anyways, yes, I don't have to pull out my book. I don't have a whole bunch of notes to write about because for the first time in a long time, the show was open-ended. It was open-ended to just freely be able to speak and freely be able to talk. And I didn't feel like the need to control it. First thing on your docket, first thing on our agenda today, I'm wearing purple in every essence of the word. I'm wearing it. Shout out to my dad. I'm wearing purple. We all know what today is. Everyone knows where they are, where the alerts went off on their phone. Me personally, I don't care how many times TMZ posted it. I didn't believe it until CNN said it. And I didn't even believe it after then on my phone. Everybody remembers the phone. I was getting phone calls out of this woodwork. Everybody knows where they were on January 26th, which January 26th happened to be a Sunday last year. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's crazy because I had just spent Saturday spending time with some old elementary school friends, and we had a good time. And we were catching up, and Sunday just became a day of terror. And let us regale the tale of everybody that lost their lives in that helicopter crash. Not just the two that we know specifically, but it was a whole family that lost their lives in this helicopter crash on the side of a mountain in LA, Calabasas. That a regular game, we're going to a game, we're going to play basketball. We got a game today, turned into the most tragic losses, not just in sports in history, but of the world. Kobe Bean Bryant and his daughter and 7 others, lost their lives today. And wrapping your head around the fact that it's been a year. For anyone who knows me, they know that I've been involved in what grief may come, and that I have been involved in anniversaries that you just can't help but remember, that you just can't help believe. As I lost my dad, and you don't, even when they come around, you don't even, you sit and you think, is this really real? Every day of your life, if I can take you guys into my life, I sit and I think and I wonder, what the hell is my purpose? And what the heck is this really real? And the irony of all that is Kobe Bryant is no longer of this world. It's ultimately a celebration of life, a celebration of what was and what we remember. This is a very somber day. Ashley, you are a guest on the show. Please take us into the day, the time, what your mind was when you heard of this, and it's not just your regular someone passed away. This was a world icon. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant and his daughter passed away. Take us into that day for you.
Yeah, I was actually at work on a Sunday. I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, Brian, and excuse me, Brian had just got off the phone with me to say that he was going to some event. That event, I expected that event to last a couple of hours. So when he called me back 30 minutes later, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, why he calling back? Literally one of my best friends. I'm like, he must have did a quick drive by the event. Then he left. And he said, hey, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, Kobe died. And I think the general reaction when everybody hears that is, Kobe who? Like, I was like, Kobe who? He said, Kobe Bryant. He's one of the biggest Kobe fans I know. And so he just seemed too calm to have heard that news. I'm like, well, where did you hear this from? And he's like, oh, well, TMZ put it out there that we're in media. So I know how to like distinguish the real from the fake. And it'd be some fake hoaxy TMZ stuff out there with TMZ's name attached to it. And it literally is not TMZ at all. So I said, oh no, those are just, some hoax stuff. That's probably a hoax. Got off the phone with him. I said, but let me check it out. I immediately go to my Twitter, and my Twitter is lit up with the same report. And I follow too many media outlets for at that point for me to say, oh, okay, this is a hoax. No. I knew at that point it was real. I happened to work a particular job where there were individuals standing in the lobby, and I had to literally run to the back. And the first person I called was my mother. And I literally broke down in the back and just cried. And my mother she just, who? And I'm like, Kobe, Mom, turn on the news. And I had to remind myself I was at work, so I had to pull it together. At this point, my phone is blowing up with text messages as well. Just people just trying to confirm if it was true, like through me. And thankfully, I had only about 30 minutes left at the time that I learned that news. And so I walked back out to the station that I was at, and the individuals in the lobby, kind of saw me just crying. My face was completely red, and I didn't want them to think that I was a nut. So I said, have you guys seen the news? Kobe Bryant died. It was like 6 people in the lobby, and everybody just immediately, no way, took out their phones. And it just got so quiet and just somber and just super sad. And I held it together for like the last 20 minutes at that point. And when I got in my car, I just cried. I just cried, man. And I drove home. It's a 40-minute drive from that particular job to my house. And the only thing I could do was I had to pull myself together and stop crying while I was driving. And just the first thing I did was just thank God for the 41 years that he gave us, because he didn't even have to give us Kobe for 41 years. And he did, but I literally could not wrap my mind around it. And then the reports started coming out that it was Gianna on the plane, or the whole family. Initially, it was the entire family was on the plane. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This, and then it was a couple of daughters. And then it went down to him and Rick Fox and a daughter. And it was just so many different things. But when it was all said and done and everything, the dust settled and everything started coming to the light. That was a horrible day for me. I have been very low key on social media today. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I haven't done anything to promote the show. I have not been on social media. I haven't even said my words to him yet because I already don't deal with death well. So it's still a little hard for me to wrap my mind around it. I can only imagine what his family's going through. I'm nobody, never even met the man before. I can only imagine what his family is going through. Prayers to them, prayers to the other individuals that lost their lives, but it's just still hard for me to like digest. And the little clips that I did see on ESPN and SportsCenter and stuff today, I had to turn it because I started tearing up and I'm like, I'm just still not over this. Like, this is crazy. That this is just, I've never had this kind of effect before on me when it came to somebody's passing. So Kobe meant a lot, man, to the woman I am today when it comes to my love for basketball. Thanks. Shout out to my mom for introducing me to him and him introducing me to the game. He is literally the reason why I fell in love with basketball. I was a Kobe Bryant fan before I was a Dwayne Wade fan. And yeah, man, it's tough. It's still tough. I kind of feel the stuff like building up right now. So y'all can take over.
Tristan, the moment that I texted you, I remember in bold letters.
Real quick. I think that I hit you up, Mikhail.
I think you did. And you know what's funny?
I think I waited.
I had a lot of people.
I think I waited because there were 3 people that came to mind immediately. Once I got myself together, it was you, it was Andre, my former co-host of About Nothing But Sports, Andre, and then the guy Brian. Those were like, these are like the 3 biggest, and Brian H. Waters, of course. The 4 people that I just, and I had to hold off. I don't think I even hit you to the next day because I'm like, yo, I know she's no good. Like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off. And so, yeah, I definitely thought of you first.
Funny thing about it is I had people I hadn't spoken to in years reach out to me.
Yeah.
Whether it was social media, people I went to school with, high school with, because they knew that I waved that Kobe Bryant flag for years. Yeah. And I think I was just stuck. It's crazy. I don't even think I really cried about it. I wanted to be left alone. Because I know how for me it was, so you're telling me my father's gone. And then a year later, Kobe Bryant's gone. And those were the 2 men that stood next to me side by side. And if you would have told me, I would have flew to LA, interviewed him. But I would have said, I had so much more to say. If I would have known what I know now, I would have had so much more to say. Tristan, I texted you that day. And in bold letters, I remember you saying, I'm sick right now. Mm-hmm. How much has that continued to be? And how do you feel? I think, and what's the beauty of all this? And we had this conversation before. Seeing the likes of grown Black men crying on national television and Black men in general in mourning. Kobe was more than just a basketball player. He was someone that they centered themselves next to. I mean, we all know about everything that's happened to him, his adversities, but his way of life resonated with the Black man. And to get that intro to how Black men grieve and how Black men mourn, and to the fact that Black men have feelings and it's okay. Speak on that. Speak on yourself personally, and also speak on that.
So for me, I think I had just come back. My wife and I just came back from Atlanta. We go down there around this past weekend. We normally go down every year with my fraternity brothers for this thing called Honda Battle of the Bands. So we literally just got back, and I remember sitting and having dinner, and I'm watching the television, and I'm just watching regular, it's regular TV, and then I see it flash over, and I'm just like, grab my phone immediately. I'm like, wait a minute, wait. And I mean, dang, just like you actually, I kind of feel the little choking from it. But yes, when I switched to CNN, just like you, I was like, if anybody's going to say it, CNN's going to say it. And I switched over and I saw it, and I had the same reaction. I just kind of was kind of stuck, and I didn't understand what I was watching. And I'm like, is this like really happening? I remember my dad was like, not Kobe. And I'm like, I couldn't even answer. I didn't know what to say. And then my mom, who does not watch sports, like she's not a sports person, she knew Kobe and she cried as if it was like her own kid. Like it was just like, that was such a thing. My wife, she shook, and she don't watch sports like that. And she was shook because Kobe's mind was so brilliant. And I tell people all the time, I don't have idols as far as like celebrities and athletes and things like that. Like, you know, my dad is like the one male superhero for me. So I never had to look for it anywhere else in other people. But like, if I had to pick one, like it was Kobe Bryant. And it wasn't even so much the basketball, even though he was brilliant on the court. It was just his mind and the way he thought. Every interview he ever had, I watched, because to listen to him, you knew you were listening to brilliance. And so it really shook me. And just like you guys, like I had people call me because I had people that knew, some of my fraternity brothers call me. They're like, bro, I know you don't want to talk about it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You came across my mind. I was thinking about you. And I think it took a long time for me to really kind of even grip watching the clips and stuff like that. And just like you, actually today, I always watch ESPN. I always watch Fox Sports. It's always on. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't watch anything today. This is literally the first sports moment I had for today, because I'm like, I can't do it today. There's no way I can't go through it. And just like you, if I was on my phone and I saw any clip or anything, I just scrolled as fast as I can, because I couldn't really stomach it. And I was wondering if I was going to be cool with it today. And then I woke up this morning and I thought about it, and I was like, nope. It was as if it happened. And I'm a big man of faith. I'm a huge man about faith, and I understand God do things, and I don't question it. But this is one of the few times where I haven't made peace, because I don't understand, and I want to understand, because I still feel like we were robbed as a world of what his mind really was. I don't think people, unless you were a Kobe fan, like really a fan of him and understood where his mind was going to be, like what his second act was going to be, was probably one of the greatest second acts we were ever going to see. And I just feel like we were robbed of that. I feel like we were robbed of seeing his daughter mature. Everyone knew she was going to UConn. It was like set in stone. We were just waiting. And it just feels like it was just taken abruptly for no reason. And, and for the rest of the families that lost loved ones on that, I couldn't imagine their emotions today. I couldn't imagine the Bryant family. I remember people were saying that Vanessa said that she didn't want any of the NBA teams to do any video montages or anything. And, I feel like that's important to respect it, and don't tag her in posts and things like that. I think that's important to understand, because if we're feeling like this as fans, for a majority of us that never met him, yep. You know what I'm saying? At least Mikal got to interview him for a little bit, but for the most of us, all we've ever seen him was on the screen. I couldn't imagine and never will want to know that feeling from a personal standpoint, from a family standpoint, a husband, a father. I never want to experience that in my own personal family. For someone that impactful to just abruptly be gone, where it just seems random and for no reason at all. So it's definitely a somber day. It's definitely, like I said, I just didn't want to watch anything today in regards to Kobe. So I just felt like it was best that I just not watch anything today. And it probably will be like that again next year. I don't know when it will be the time where I'm like, okay, I can watch this and not get choked up. I can watch this and not feel heartbroken. I don't know when that time's going to come. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
It's crazy because I'm sitting here not trying to be the ambassador of loss here. And I heard something once before. Every time somebody loses a dad, I cringe. And a friend of mine told me, thank you for your wishes, but don't get in this rabbit hole with me, because it's easy to get back into it. I mean, you have your days, but you're going. but don't get back in it with me. And you come to think of it, and I said to her, you never are out of the rabbit hole. You're constantly there. People think you're not in there because grief is the best acting job you can ever do. But so in feeling that feeling and constituting with Vanessa, it's hard for me to look at pictures of my father. I'm torn. I don't want to look at them. Mm-hmm. I want to look at them, but then looking at them is a beautiful thing, but looking at them is hard. I have a new apartment here. Am I going to put anything up? I don't know. But I know it's very particularly, and for them to grieve with the world, mm-hmm. that wants so much a part of you because they feel like they're a part of you because of him, which you're not. Yes. It's probably harder not to dissect the two. And we're teeter-tottering the line here, Ashley and Tristan. I always wondered this, and if I can ask this question, what was harder to take in? The fact that Kobe Bryant was gone, or how he died, and who died with him when we talk about Gianna?
If
anybody ever thought of that?
Yeah, I think it's funny that you asked that, because when my friend said that he died, the first thing I thought was he sick? Before, this was literally in a split second. Was he sick and we just didn't know? Like, and I said, well, how? And then he said a helicopter crash, and I'm like, nah, not Kobe. Nah, like.
You just knew he was going to get out there with the thing and just save himself and everybody.
It's just so like final when you hear helicopter and plane. That's it. There's no possibility. Maybe it's wrong. You know, when they solidify that it's those people, it's that's it. There's no coming back from that. So my mind immediately went to, well, is he sick? Because if he's sick, are we sure that the reports are? I mean, it was literally such a split second. And then I asked really quickly, what happened? A helicopter crash. And I'm like, what the hell? Look, I love Kobe. I've always loved Kobe, but I'm not going to act like I was super in touch with him after I got into Dwayne Wade. I didn't know that he had this thing for helicopters. My boy told me. So I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is he doing in a helicopter? Oh, well, he always is in a helicopter. That's his means of transportation.
Doesn't like traffic.
I mean, immediately I'm like, Kobe, oh my God. Like, I had no clue. So I think for me, it's probably the way he passed. Yeah. And just everything that came along and everybody that happened to be with him, like, because I knew as much as we kind of looked at him as this Superman, like, nah, he can overcome this. Nah, like he could, you know what I'm saying? When you hear a plane crash, you know that there's just, if they say that's him on there, it's him on there. And there's no possibility likely. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was the way that it happened for me. I was just completely blown away.
It was definitely the way, because it just seemed so random. I think that's what really bothered me about it. It was just like, and like I said, I'm big about my faith. So I be talking to God like it's a regular conversation. I'm like, so he didn't have more to do? Like, that was always my thing. I feel like everybody that's put on this earth has a purpose. And then when you're done, you're done. And I'm just like, he didn't have more? You made this man, this brilliant of a brain, and how he thought, and how he felt, and how he put everything like 120% in everything that he wanted to do. Like, he won an Academy Award, like coming out, like he finished basketball, then what? Like, he had so much more to give. So I'm just like, he didn't have more. There wasn't more for us to get from him. You know, he had his book, but it was like I was expecting more books. Like, there was just so much I was looking for, and I'm just like, really? And in this way, like, it just, and I think that's part of why it still doesn't settle. I think that's a big part of why it doesn't settle, why I can't really get past it today, because I'm just like, it just seemed too random and senseless. It just seemed too random and senseless, and it's just really something I'm like, man, this is the one time I really question this one, God. Like, I really question you on this one, and I don't want to question you, but I do, because I don't understand this one. And it was definitely the way. It was definitely the fact that it was Gigi. It was like really? Like, why? Like, what? Like, I understand the imprint that was there, but she even had more to do. Like, there was so much we were looking forward to see from her. Like, it was, I can't grasp it. I can't grasp it, and I still can't grasp it.
You know what this is reminiscent of? And I did have a chance. I've been dissecting myself away from social media today too. I only posted one time about the show. And normally it's like, and when we think of ourselves as journalists, we're social media animals too much. You get jumped on when you're not posting, and you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta keep branding, and sometimes it's like you need a break. When all that social injustice things were going on, I needed a break. I could not look on there anymore. It was taxing on me. Kobe, I needed a break. But I did see one clip, and I saw this clip originally when he first put it out. Stephen A. Smith talking about, imagine you speaking about purpose, Tristan. Imagine completing your purpose at 41 when there's nobody else that you have to please. Everything that was set in front of you. Oh, you'll never win one more without Shaq. Oh, you'll never reach this number. Oh, you'll never do this. You'll never do this. Whatever profession. I've reached your standards. I've went above your standards. There's nothing left I have to prove. Mm-hmm. Now, all I have to do as I walk away from this is be a human being and live now. Imagine the pressure that falls off your back. And Stephen A. Smith said he saw Kobe New Year's Eve and they were partying. And he said that's the most unguarded that he ever has seen him his whole life. Mm-hmm. He said it's the most fun he's ever seen him, the most in a good place he's seen them. Because for Kobe, I've done everything you told me I couldn't. What else? How you like me now? There's nothing else you can say about me. All I have to do now is live my life with my daughters. The truth, we talk about people retiring. The truest of walking off into the sunsets was Kobe Bryant. All he had to do was live his life. And even what he was doing with Gigi and women's basketball, that wasn't for him.
Right.
That wasn't something for him to have to prove to anybody. Right. That was just something he loved to do. He loved to help the youth of basketball. He found a particular interest in women's basketball because his daughter, a lot of people forget, he stopped watching basketball. He stopped participating in it. He let it go. And Gigi said, wait a minute, I love this because you love this. Come back, Dad. And he found a different second tier of life because of that. But it wasn't because he had something to prove, oh, I'm going to be the best coach or I'm going to put women's sports at the pinnacle of its tops. It was just because it was a hobby that he enjoyed doing.
Yep.
Could you all imagine?
And
to leave so tragically.
I think that perspective is what makes me feel for Vanessa and the family. That perspective, because I think people don't understand sometimes with these athletes and the ones that are great, what they have to sacrifice from a personal standpoint and what their families have to sacrifice. I mean, they said with Kobe, he's getting up for the gym at 4 a.m. every day. Every day he was getting up at 4. So every day he's leaving the bed when Vanessa's still laying there. Mm. Every day when Vanessa's watching out for the young girls, he goes and he goes and be great at basketball. And I think people forget that Vanessa and Kobe been together seemed like forever. I mean, he was young. They were both young.
19, yeah.
19 or something. They've been together forever. So Vanessa, not only did Kobe sacrifice, Vanessa sacrificed time and the moments of spending time with Kobe and all that for him to be the best version of himself as far as a basketball player. And just like you said, Mikkel, he accomplished everything that he was supposed to be when he was dubbed as the young phenom coming straight from high school. He accomplished everything. MVP, Should have been a 2-time MVP, but I'm not going to get into that, right?
I mean,
Just, Steve Nash, congratulations. But, it should have been multi-time MVP, been finals MVP, been all-star MVP, 5-time champion, all NBA, all defense, in the top rankings of scoring, all these things. He did everything, like you said, Mikhail. Everything that people said he couldn't do, he did. He literally had 2 Hall of Fame careers in one. So he gave everything. And then he retired. And even in the last game, he mustered enough of his gift for one more vintage Kobe game. And then he walked off. And that was supposed to be Vanessa's time to have him fully without everybody else. And it was just taken. And it was just like, how is that fair to her? When she sat and cheered and root every moment, and she sat there and let the world take him in. And now she finally had a chance to say, okay, he's mine and mine alone. And here we are. Like, that is what is heartbreaking in that aspect. That is so heartbreaking, because she gave the world, she gave him to us as a world. And we were ready to give him back, and we give him back, and now he's gone.
She hadn't even finished high school before they got married. They had to do a private, so it wouldn't be so much controversy before they got married. She had to do her last high school and private lessons. You two are parents. One will be a new parent, and the other is already a parent. And I can't imagine my greatest memories without my father. But you have 2 young girls that will not have memories with their father, but so much of what they can remember now. And it's probably faint, Ashley, as a mother. You have Vanessa, to a degree. A lot of people are saying, and I hate for it to be so twisted, it's one thing to lose your husband. One day you're going to lose your husband. You're going to lose the person that's older. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't plan to bury my daughter. I didn't plan to bury my. We were not supposed to, as children, we're not supposed to be buried before our parents. Either way is difficult, and I know that kind of dichotomy is hard to put your finger on it to say. But if you can speak to those things, and then Tristan, you next. But if you can speak to those things as a mother, how does
my daughter's 12, so same age range as Gianna, and I could not imagine. You carry a human being inside of you for 9 months, and that was another part of it. It wasn't just Kobe. I just felt horrible as a mom for Vanessa, man. I just couldn't imagine. The only thing I could do was just cry, man. I just could cry and just pray for it. And I just couldn't imagine, man, not having my daughter, knowing that your kids, to a very high extent, force you to elevate yourself to be the best version of you. And so when that's taken away, I can't imagine just. And on top of one child being taken away, her strength is incredible, because you still have 3 other children that you got to be strong for. 2 young ones who in general have no idea what's going on. I'm grateful for her oldest in that moment, because she probably had to be strong in those moments where her mom needed to be weak. She needed to be strong for her younger sisters. But to still have to push. I mean, I know it when one of my kids are sick. When one of my kids are sick, I want to just coddle that one kid. But I don't just have one kid. So yes, I want to coddle and just take completely I want all the attention to be on that one child. I have to remind myself, okay, I got another child over here that's not sick, that need my attention. Just, you know what I'm saying? So to just deal with a death and know that you still got to keep it pushing, you still got to keep it trucking, you still got to be strong for 3 other kids, man, her strength is incredible. I I know that she definitely had her moments, obviously, but her strength and what we saw from her in the days after Kobe kind of was reminiscent of Nipsey's mom. And she just had this, you know, so many people didn't understand Nip's mom's reaction to stuff. But when you at a certain level of peace, it looked funny to everybody else that don't understand it because you ain't on that level. And there was so many people that was like, oh, she's still in shock. She's had the proper chance to mourn. It hasn't hit her yet. And I'm like, nah, it has hit her, but she has this peace. And from what I saw from Vanessa, obviously, again, you know, she obviously had her private moments. I admired her strength and knowing that she needed to be strong for her girls, man. And, you know, just keep it pushing. But it was really hard to digest, really, really hard to see her go through that. I'm constantly keeping that woman in prayer because I just couldn't imagine.
You bring up Nipsey, and I have this internal want to see. I don't know if it's the daughters of LA because of how their significant others were for LA. Of course, we all know Nipsey was Nipsey, but the candle was bigger on Kobe's side. But when you talk about LA, I have this internal want to see Vanessa and Lauren London come together. Even if it's in a picture, the solidarity that they both have of back-to-back years of the loss in LA.
Yeah.
Tristan, we speak of us being fans, but not being fans in LA. What is the city of LA going through today?
Oh man, it has to be a somber day for LA. I mean, like there's certain people, certain athletes that we look at as like superheroes, and especially like black superheroes. You know, and the ones I could think of off the top of my head is like the Bo Jacksons, the Michael Jordans of the world. And a lot of people is Kobe Bryant. And what I think what a lot of people got to understand is that a lot of millennials, like Kobe Bryant is the Michael Jordan for a lot of people. Like he is the guy, you know, because for a lot of us, you know, like I was talking to one of my guys the other day, you know, I remember Jordan, yes, but I remember Jordan from his second act when he came out of retirement and did the 3-peat, you know what I'm saying? But we watched Kobe from high school going all the way up. Like we just grew with this journey. We were there for the highs and the lows. We were there for the air balls, and we were there for the, you know, 360 dunks and the alley-oop to Shaq against Portland. Like we were there for all of those moments, you know, and you know, the Achilles tears, and so we were there as fans just through all of that. So it's really like watching your superhero just go away for no reason at all, like that. And that's really where it's at for me. Like even if he was sick, I'd be like, all right, he was sick. Like there's nothing you can really do about that. If he was sick, it was terminal illness. He was sick, like how we felt about Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman hurt, but I was able to kind of not get over it, but just understand that he was sick. This was just random. It just didn't compute. And it was like, I can only imagine being in LA and you're like, you watch this guy that was just such a giant and a helicopter crash took him out. Like after everything he went through, all the injuries, everything, all the stuff he dealt with in his body, it was that was going to be his ending story. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't imagine how LA feels today in that regard. But I'm sure they're also trying to celebrate his life as well. At the same time, you have to celebrate what he meant for the city and what he meant for the basketball world and what he meant for people that's out here trying to get it. Everybody can use the Mamba mentality in any profession. You don't have to be a superior athlete. You don't have to be that. You can literally be a person at your desk, but you're going to be the best teleworking person at your desk. You could be a freaking janitor, but you're going to be the best freaking janitor. You're going to have the Mamba mentality. I'm not just going to halfway clean the halls. I'm going to clean everything. I'm going to clean the lockers too. You can carry that mindset in every arena that there is. And I think I feel like the world just needed to see it in another arena, and we didn't get the chance to see it in another space, not just basketball. I felt like he was more than basketball, and I feel like that we just got robbed of that. Like, he did basketball and that was it. He was more than that. His mind was more than that, and I wanted to see it in its totality.
In finishing this, because this is becoming a lot right now, in finishing this, there's so many memories, so many clips. One clip that came across me that I had screenshot a long time ago was a picture with Kobe like this, and he's in his Lower Merion uniform, and you can and he's playing his high school ball, and he's going up to the basket, and he's like this, and he has the ball in the palm of his hand. It's like at 16, 17, he was a man among boys. Mm-hmm. You're not stopping that. He rose above them. Kobe to Shaq, I'll never forget it. They have a simulation of it, and it comes on piece by piece. Someone did. Like, all the pieces come on piece by piece, like everybody. I'll never forget where I was. We was down by 10, baby. I was like, what's going on? I remember LA being in high school, and games in LA, of course, they start at 10:30. My mother was not a fan of you staying up past 10:30 because she was not driving me to school when I could get on a yellow cheese bus. And if I did miss the bus, I did not want to hear her mouth until she drove me to school. All the way, I would hear her mouth until I got out that car. And I would turn the volume down so I could hear it in my sleep, or at least I thought I was hearing it in my sleep. But there was a couple of times that I would wake up in the middle of the third and hear something and be like, oh, I was like, I'm going to listen to this game. My greatest analytic endeavors came from defending Kobe Bryant. I think he made me an analyst. The confetti flying down with him holding the ball, and he's on the scores table in that 2010, the last one championship we saw him. Even the one when we went up 3-1 against Phoenix, and he's like this, and he hits the game-winning shot. So many Kobe memories, so many to remember. We're gonna be remembering Kobe Bryant forever, of course. But how will you remember Kobe Bryant?
For me, it would definitely be just the way his mind worked. I know when he passed,
that we knew nobody would appreciate it till he retired. Us Kobe fans knew it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah, it was. I was supposed to do a show that week, and I was like, you know what? I'm a boss up. Kobe probably looking at me like soft. Like, what you got to do? Keep it pushing. I'm good. You keep it pushing. But ultimately, I ended up not doing the show because it was just way too much. But generally, now I'm just, like, yo, I gotta keep it pushing. This is it's the Mamba way. It's the Mamba, and you don't even realize how many people like respected that until, like you said, Michaela, until unfortunately, him passing. You know what I mean? And then you didn't even realize how many people were so close and had so many relationships with him until he died. And so for me, I remember him by just keeping it pushing, the Mamba mentality, moving forward, working hard. Ain't nothing going to be given to me. If I love it and if I want it to be a part of me and my legacy, I got to work hard for it. I can't be lazy or he up there like soft. Like,
and that's it's crazy because for you to have that type of impact for him, to think that he's looking down at you like, Ashley, what the hell?
Right, me. Little,
if you don't know me, never met me.
Don't know me at all. Yeah.
But we all think at one point that Kobe's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Get up.
Yep. Yep.
And that's the impact right there.
Yep, it is.
Tristan, let's finish this off, buddy.
For me, it's two moments. Because I have to. It's two moments from a pure basketball standpoint. The main moment I have is basically everything that Ashley just stated. It's just that Mamba mentality. I literally carry that every day. But the two basketball moments for me was the 81 point game.
Hey, Jalen.
And the reason why that one, right? And the reason why that one is so important to me is really what all the people that were playing, even including Jalen, were talking about on the court with him. They said normally when you see guys, when you see them kind of have that kind of heat check, and they're just in another world, they kind of, you can see them kind of showboat, and you see them kind of feel it. You know, they know that they're hot. They know that they're doing something crazy. And I remember Jalen always saying, he said, what was weird about Kobe though is that he was so even keeled. He was just so locked in that he was like, I don't even think he knew how much he scored until he was done. Like, he just was completely in tune, locked in, solid. He didn't talk any trash. He didn't showboat. It was just bucket, let's go to the other side, play defense. Bucket, let's go to the other side, play defense. He said he's never seen a guy that had a heat check like that, but was so cold, just so cool. It was just nothing on him, no facial expression, nothing. It was just, we just going to get a bucket. He literally said he honestly felt like he didn't know how much he actually scored until they pulled him out of the game. And people got to remember, they pulled him out of the game. He didn't even play all the fourth quarter. So who knows what he really could have had, because they pulled him out. So, you know, you just never know. He probably could have hit 100. But he was just so locked in. And Jalen Rose said that moment, he said he always respected Kobe, but he said that game made him respect him on a whole other wave, because he was like, to be that locked in that kind of way was amazing. And the second one was the 60-point game. And for me, I remember watching that game and I had tears in my eyes watching him play, because, like I say, if you're a Kobe fan, you know the injuries, you know the wear and tear on that body, you know everything. And that entire season, I'm like, we're never going to see that Kobe Bryant. And I accepted it because I'm like, he gave everything. He could score 7 points and I don't care. I'm fine. I'm good with it. But for him to give, as the scores kept going up, and they're like, okay, he got 20. Okay, he got 25. He got 30. And you see him just keep scoring and he's scoring, and you're like, wait a minute. Hold on. This is Mamba. This is Mamba all day. And it was just so poetic, because not only did he score to 60, but he needed every bit of them points to win that game. Like, he hit the game-winning shot. And it was just such a moment. It was so poetic, because it was just like, it was really like an ode. Like, before he brought out his ode to basketball, that game was his ode to basketball. That game was his ode to Laker Nation, like his thank you, because you gave us one more look at Mamba before you called it. And I literally remember, like, watching that game in tears in my room, because I was just so amazed at seeing something like that. Like, it was out of a movie. It was incredible. So those things I will always cherish. Anytime I think about Kobe, I'll be sad that he's gone, but I'm going to always cherish seeing those moments.
And you could see when he was walking to the bench when it was over, he was exhausted. He gave basketball. Yeah. He gave his last go. Everything he could. Not to mention what came about that. First of all, that came from a Shaq bat. Shaq said he couldn't score, 40, 50? And here he go. That MF, he said, gave me 60. Then we get the 3-on-3 tournament from Ice Cube from that, because he said, we're sitting here watching this and we'll never see a guy like him again. I have to give the opportunities elsewhere. I think we got to honor. I think we have one more honorable mention in my book. And I think it's a testament to Kobe and his strength. The average person don't tear an Achilles and go shoot 2 free throws.
No.
It just doesn't happen. And if anybody has torn Achilles or nose, it's pulling the hell out of your heel. It's like rubber burning. And to see him not only walk to the bench, walk back, shoot 2, and then go sit down, that's strength right there. We remember
refusing help.
He didn't get a wheelchair. He didn't get nobody to lean on. He walked off on his own accord. And he also walked off on his career on his own accord. And maybe in some twisted way, he walked off on life on his own accord. I don't know. But
you understand that?
Yeah. Long live Kobe Bryant. We remember him. Roland Ramos would also like to, while we're sitting in this moment, because we do not want to revisit pain, and we do not want to revisit thinking of the gone, but we also want to revisit another legend's life, I mean, you break Babe Ruth's record in a turbulent time for America, where they're threatening your daughter, they're threatening you. They don't want an African American man in this country to triumph. Oh man, Hank Aaron, rest easy, brother.
Yep.
What you did for us is unparalleled, and for both you legends. I always wonder how. I mean, of course, you don't know what heaven is until you get there. But I always wonder, do everybody sit around and shake each other's hand and tell me what you did on this time and what you did? I hope that heaven is purely in awe of what these legends left us. Because when you lose somebody, if you always said it. I always said my dad took so much with me, but they also leave so much with you. So let's move on.
Home run king. The true home run king.
True home run king. Let us move on. Let the smoke air out. Dry your eyes. Anybody need some water? Do you need a tissue? Because I'm trying to hold it in. It is a new day. And it is a new day in America. We got a new president. Shout out to Smoking Joe. I'm looking at you, baby. You already making grounds. I don't even care how long it takes you to give me the stimmy, but the fact that you told me it's coming, I love you. But please, I hope that change happens in this country. We've seen how much it's been divided. Shout out to Smoking Joe. I call him Smoking Joe. Shout out to Joe Biden. And by the way, my vice president's black. Her Lambo's pink. She's an AKA and she went to an HBCU. Right on, damn it. Right on. It's a new day in America. It is a new day in America. And I was going to talk a little Steph Curry. You know, he's number 2 now. You know, he passes Reggie Miller.
It don't matter, Tom.
Greatest shooters of all time. Where does he rank now? Will he be when he leaves the greatest shooter that ever played the game?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same.
There's no question.
It ain't even really much to talk about. It ain't even. I do want to say this. You know, shame on the world. Shame on the world for just forgetting what Stephen Curry is, because
I'm pointing at you, Tristan.
For 1 year. Shame on y'all for living in the Jamal Murray moment, for living in the Damian Lillard moment.
Yes.
Shame on y'all for living in the moments that took your breath away and took your sense away, thinking that you guys were better than Wardell. Shame on y'all. Just shame. I mean, he is literally shutting everybody up.
I mean,
you said that blue-eyed assassin was looking at all that saying what?
No, it's ridiculous.
Then he came back and they were trying to shame him. He was missing some days. Go ahead.
And the thing is, I think the one that killed me the most, I think it was Chris Webber was commentating on one of the games with Dame Lillard, talking about some Steph Curry need to watch out for logo. What?
Logo Lillard? What? Yo,
I never wanted a player to come back so quickly. I was just like, this is complete disrespect. Y'all forgot. Y'all really forgot. My man had a year off, and y'all just went away and forgot.
It's just a testament of folks seriously living in the moment. I mean, I haven't heard Jamal Murray's name all year.
All year.
We're a month in. I haven't heard Jamal Murray's name. I damn sure ain't heard nothing about Dame on the level that I've heard about Steph. You know,
the man had to score 50 for them to shut up.
Yeah, like I mean, and constantly beat down Portland and Dame and them every time they see him.
And the Warriors are not looking bad in the West at all. I'm sorry.
No.
Y'all thought they were going to be at the bottom of the barrel. That has not happened.
Good conversation. I think Steph is like
no Clay at all.
Top 3 as far as scoring. Come on, man. Like y'all tried this. Them people tried.
Y'all really tried the man. Y'all really tried the man.
And Tristan, this is without Clay. Imagine him back next year.
Listen, for me, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm not saying I'm going to root for them because I'm a purist, but I can't wait to see it though. I can't wait to see it. Like,
I was devastated when Clay went out because I was like,
devastated.
oh my God, I just know what they was about to bring. Oh my God. Oh, I was so hurt. I mean, that was just bad for bad. I'm like, for a minute, I was like, man, what I'm watching this for? Like, I don't even want to watch now. Like, come on. I was looking for literally like the year of duos, Steph and Clay, before he got traded, John Wall and Bradley Beal, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, LeBron and AD, Kawhi and Paul George. I was just looking for just like these just duos, you know what I'm saying? I was just so ready. And when he went out, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Like,
I was hurt.
Come on.
For man. Sure.
I saw something today that brought us a little bit of, out of all the Kobe things I saw, there was one that made me at least say WTF a little bit. And I know he was paying homage and everything, but from what we've seen from you the last couple of weeks, you the main guy. Oh. If there's anybody that you can put in a request to take off at work and they not give it to you and you still go, you should just show them a picture of this guy. So to see Kyrie Irving wearing a Mamba jersey and everything that stands for, everything that we just discussed, and you just come back how you just come back, I found it irony.
I can agree with that.
Wanted to take it off of him.
Can I speak to something with Kyrie? And this may be just me being a little too deep. I don't know. All of a sudden, I be thinking I'm like this fake little psychologist sometimes.
Please don't talk about the psychological aspects. And he got problems.
But no, we really have to like consider what Kobe passing meant to him or did to him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think that's not an excuse. You know what I'm saying? But I take mental days from work. If I need a mental week, I take you know what I'm saying? I ain't getting paid millions of dollars now. I ain't got a contract to say, you know what I'm saying? But I really, it's just too much of a coincidence, that he's kind of
teetering off
the way he's being. And again, this is not an excuse, but grief strikes in many different ways. People grieve differently, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, some of that more so than not probably got a lot to do with Kobe passing, man. Kobe meant a lot to that dude.
I ain't talking about that now. I'm talking about 2-3 weeks ago. This is today.
No, I'm just saying in general. He's been weird all season, in my opinion. Like from
exactly. So we can separate that. He's been weird all. Yeah. So I'm not putting Kobe with. I'm putting Kobe with that today, but I'm not putting Kobe with that before.
Oh no, I'm putting it with.
Even off the.
I'm talking about overall.
I disagree with that. I am not putting that in there with him. I think it could have been handled differently. I think if it was handled differently, if everybody else knew about it, everybody in your organization, you just called off work and nobody knew about it. Like Steve Kerr is looking like, I don't know what's going on. I ain't heard from him since. What do you mean you ain't hear from him since? No,
you usually get fired for that.
Exactly. Yeah. Then he comes out with this. I would have had a lot more sympathy for you if you would have said, listen, just be honest. And for people that don't want to be so much caught up in the media, you play in New York. What do you think this is going to turn into? Shut it down automatically. Go ahead, Tristan.
And I think with Kyrie, I think it runs along the same sentiments, because I remember when you tweeted about that, Ashley, and I said, and we talked about it a little bit, and I was like, well, I can empathize with that, but at least let your team know. You don't owe the media people nothing.
Did that come out though that he didn't say anything to the team or teammates? Is that an official word? Oh, okay.
He didn't say anything to the team. They said apparently he said something to the brass, but he didn't say anything to the team nor Steve Nash. I'm like, you got to let them know if you're not going to play, brother. Like, that was my whole thing. And I remember actually you saying, like, maybe that Kobe thing is fake. I'm like, well, then take a year off. You're entitled to do it. I'm not going to hold it against you if you say, you know what, I just need to retire right now. I'll come back when I feel ready. I have no problem with that. But to just not show, to just not be there when people are looking at you guys as potential contenders for a championship this year, that was the thing for me. So I can understand Mikel's thought process from wearing the Kobe Bryant jersey and acting like that, because it's like, Kobe Bryant never cheated the game. He answered the call every single night that it needed to be answered. So, like, the only way he didn't play is if the doctors made him not play. Like, that was it. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand that in that regard. I mean, the last championship he won, he basically won it with 9 fingers. Like when you have somebody, you idolize someone that's like that, and then you go and do what you did, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to look at it like that. So I get that.
This is the only note that I wrote. And y'all know I'm a note taker. I like to be prepared. I like everything about it. I'm going to make sure you know. This is the only note I took. And it came courtesy of football because Super Bowl 55 is set, America. On one end, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the other end, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the guy that's never going to, the guy that may never leave this game. And we talk about Kobe and the fact that he just was able to leave it, and now he's off for his family. They have this picture of him hugging his son. His son has done nothing but going to the Super Bowl.
That's it.
He knows nothing but AFC championships, NFC championships. He's been nothing.
In every photo.
So when he's home, that Brady house might be a little different because we don't know Brady at home. So we got Tom Brady in one corner. I mean, who needed who? Hey, Bill Belichick, I hope you're seeing this from the couch. And you have Patrick Mahomes, Mecole Hardman, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on TV, with them telling him and Travis Kelce telling him, you're going to make a play in this game. Shrug that off. It ain't nothing. He made one of the biggest plays in that game. This is a team, people. You got 4 black coaches. They're behind the scenes, of course. But you got 4 black coaches going to the Super Bowl. They all deserve jobs. And we're still waiting on it. Bucks beat the Packers 31-26. Tom Brady 20-36, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 3 of them things along with that. Rodgers 33-48, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Devontae Adams 9 receptions, 67 yards, 1 touchdown. The Chiefs beat the Bills. One thing I gotta say about the Bills before I get into this. Everybody's praising the Bills for sending all of this money to Lamar Jackson's charity. On one end, it's great. All these kids get all this money. On the other hand, y'all don't know the history about these Bills Mafia. What happened to sending pizzas, thanking the Colts or something, thanking the Bengals it was? Sending pizzas, thanking somebody for helping them lose or something? And y'all praising this mafia? I hope somebody sent something to the Bills organization because
Bills Mafia has always been that way. They've always been like that. It is a
thank you for helping me out and losing. This ain't no praise. Stop it. Anyways, Chiefs beat the Bills 38-24. Josh Allen 28-48, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Patrick Mahomes 29-38, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, oh my God, is he? Oh, he jumps over them like hills now, doesn't he? Tyreek Hill 9 receptions. He had 172 of them things that we call yards. Let's talk about Bucks Packers first because what's in a field goal? But what's in a field goal when you're down 5 and you still got to get a ball away? No one understands that. We have a lot to talk about not running the football. Aaron Rodgers, you are the MVP. What the hell happened? We could have a lot to talk about the immaculateness of Tom Brady, but is it too immaculate? Because that Bucs defense, some would say, won that game a little bit more than Tom Brady did. Now, granted, we're praising Tom Brady for getting the Bucs somewhere they ain't seen since 19-something. But at the same time, we got to give Jason Pierre-Paul some props as well. There's a lot to talk about in this game. Tristan. And Ashley, I would love for you to beautifully follow you, beautiful thing, you. Tristan, you decided off the record when we were on the record a couple of days ago. You know, me and Tristan have morning meetings and whatnot. But we're really catching up as friends because we care about each other. You know, this is bigger than the game. It's bigger than the show.
That's right.
But he alluded to me that I might see this full-on dark-skinned Jamaican man mad on Tuesday, which means that Tristan's audibles, if you missed it, which is when he gives himself a chance to rant. It's in full effect tonight, baby. Tristan, Matt LaFleur, field goal, running, all the missing parts of this game that would have contributed to the Packers going to the Super Bowl. You have the FLOOR, sir. You have the floor.
You have the floor.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna do about the Packers first, because the Packers thing I can end quicker. That game embodied everything that I hate about the Packers. Everything I hate about the Packers.
Oh, that went.
And the reason why is because I talked about this on Ashley's show. It was shortly after the draft. You traded up in the first round to pick a quarterback instead of giving Aaron Rodgers another weapon. You just came off of a season when you went 13-3 with a brand new head coach that still has Similac on his job. Okay? Aaron Rodgers picks that coach that you picked without telling him the coach you were picking. You said with your boldness that Aaron Rodgers does not run the Packers, and you picked a coach that he had no idea, and he took you to 13-3, and he got you to the NFC Championship game when y'all got beat down by the 49ers. You come back into this draft, you're like, I'm thinking, and the world is thinking, man, Packers got to the NFC Championship. They were almost at the Super Bowl. Man, they're probably going to get more weapons for Aaron Rodgers because then they're going to go to the Super Bowl, no question. What do? You trade back into the first round and grab a quarterback. You have a first-round pick that did not touch the football field this season. A first-round pick that did not see the field at all this year. And that game against Tampa Bay with that defense, you know what I said to myself watching that game? Man, it'd have been nice if he had another weapon. It'd have been nice if he had another wide receiver opposite Devontae Adams. Even though kudos to Lazard and the boys, I know they did their thing, but it'd have been nice to have a wide receiver of the caliber of Devontae Adams on the other side. It'd have been nice to have a tight end of that caliber on the other side. It'd have been nice to maybe have an offensive tackle, that, to help protect Aaron Rodgers. That would have been cool. It'd have been nice to get a linebacker maybe for the Packers defense. That would have been awesome. That would have been nice. But no, we wasted a first-round pick on a quarterback that is on the scout team. And it's probably going to remain on the scout team for the next 2 to 3 years. Now, let's go to the game. Matt LaFleur, this is why I say you still got Similac on your chin. I cannot stand analytics. It burns me up when people talk about analytics. Analytics say if you do this, it's going this. If you do this. No. I don't care about that. I have Aaron Rodgers. The best player on my team is on the offensive side of the ball. The best player on my team is the quarterback. If there was such thing as having 5 downs, Aaron Rodgers is going to get all 5 downs to try to score. I'm not leaving it in anybody else's hands at the end of the game. Did you not realize you were heading into a 2-minute warning? Did you not realize you were heading into a 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter? Did you not realize that you needed a touchdown in order to take the lead? Did you not realize that you were on the 9-yard line? Did you not realize you had Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback? Why would you go for a field goal? In what world would that have made sense? And then in your post game, you said, well, we went for the field goal. We knew we were going to need a stop. And, I just thought our defense could probably get a stop. You thought your defense was going to get a stop against the greatest closer in NFL history. When have you ever seen Tom Brady have a lead at the end of the game and lose it? When? History has always shown, if nothing else, Tom Brady is the greatest closer of football games we've ever seen. You give Tom Brady time at the end of the game, he's either going to take the lead or keep the lead. As soon as they kick the field goal, I said, oh, that's it. Aaron Rodgers is never going to see the ball again. He's never going to see the ball again. Tom Brady's not going to allow that. Why would you do that? You give him every shot. You had 4th down. You give Aaron Rodgers a chance to go and win the game. If I lose the championship game, I'm losing it in Aaron Rodgers' hands. I'm not losing it in anybody else's hands. If I got to lose, let me lose in Aaron Rodgers' hands. Point blank, period. I don't care about anything else. I don't care what the analytics say about field goal percentages and possibly getting the ball back with the time. I don't care about that. I have one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game at my disposal. He is going to get every single chance to win this game. Do you understand that not only that the Green Bay Packers were the number one scoring offense this season, but they were also number one in red zone touchdown efficiency this season? They actually ranked in the top 5 of touchdown efficiency in the red zone in NFL history. They did all of that this season. You weren't going to give that offense a chance to win the game? You played scared. You choked. And you choked with one of the best quarterbacks at your disposal as a head coach. Matt LaFleur, you got to eat that. You choked. You choked. There's no way I'm putting that ball back in Brady's hands with 2 minutes left on the clock. There's no way I'm doing that. You choked. That is your fault. So that's how I feel about the Packers. Let's see what they're going to do. Maybe they're going to draft another quarterback in this NFL draft. Who knows what they're going to do? I have no idea, because at this point, y'all have no clue what to do with Aaron Rodgers. Y'all have no idea what to do with him. Maybe
how much angrier does this make you feel that they were controlling the time of possession as well, that whole game?
They did every. I want people to understand that Aaron Rodgers didn't really play that bad. He wasn't the patent great Aaron, but he didn't play bad. And I feel like you gotta give him the chance. If you had all this time, you controlled the clock for the most part to keep the game where, because it looked like the game was getting away from you because your defense was horrendous. But again, we trade up and we just gonna draft a quarterback. That made total sense. But your defense was horrendous, and Aaron Rodgers still managed to get the game one possession away, and you took it away from him. I mean, I want people to look back at that game. Do you all see how disgusting he looked on the bench when he took off his helmet? He knew I'm not going to see that ball again. He knew it. And so I want the Packers to get out of their way and understand when you have a special talent. It's the same thing with Tom Brady with the Patriots. Understand when you have a special person. Stop having this ego that no one is bigger than the team. No one is bigger than the brand. If one person has made your team relevant for over 2 decades, guess what? He is your brand. He is your guy. You don't disrespect that. I really don't understand what more did y'all not look at the Colts in Denver when it came to Peyton Manning? When Peyton went to Denver, they basically said, "Hey Peyton, what you want to do, bro? It's your world. What do you need? What pieces you need? What playbook you want to run? It is your world. Whatever you need, whatever." And they gave it to him. And guess what? Got him a championship. Now, albeit, I understand that the Denver defense is the one that won that championship. I get it. Peyton wasn't vintage Peyton. But guess what? Peyton got you to the Super Bowl twice. He got you to the Super Bowl twice. He might get his jersey retired in Denver, just like he's going to get his jersey retired in Indianapolis. Because they said, whatever you need, here. But for whatever reason, the Packers, they did the same thing to Brett Favre. They just feel like, oh, we're just this great organization. We don't got to listen to these transcendent quarterbacks. Makes no sense. Do you understand that you're an organization that has had 2 of the greatest quarterbacks ever, and you only can account for 2 championships? You have 2 quarterbacks that are ranked in the top 10 of all time, and you account for 2 Super Bowl championships. That is a detriment to you as an organization. That is a sour taste for you as an organization. There are franchises in the NFL that didn't even get 1 transcendent quarterback in their history. You had 2. You really had 3, and you can only account for 2 in the modern era. That makes no sense to me. But that's how I feel about the Packers. We're going to see what they do in the draft. I don't know. Maybe they'll draft a quarterback coach, a wide receiver coach. Maybe they'll draft a water boy with the first pick. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? Because if daggone sure ain't going to be an offensive weapon to help Aaron Rodgers out. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, for Tom Brady, And actually,
I
you're
want to
gonna
say
like
this before you go there. You
Go
go
ahead.
for. I don't know what's worse for me. You don't go for it on fourth down, and then you don't go for it on fourth down. It would have been. It was tit for tat that fourth quarter anyway. You make a mistake, I make a mistake. You make.
Yeah.
I would have took how my offensive line was crumbling enough for me to at least go for it because Aaron Rodgers is running for his life. But go ahead.
For his life. Running for his life. Absolutely. But, hey, they're probably going to, I don't know. They're probably going to
draft me.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well. Might as well. Now for Tom Brady. Okay. Actually, this is for you. Okay. Tom Brady, after Sunday, I'm not a prisoner of the moment. I'm not caught up in anything. Tom Brady is the undisputed GOAT. Tom Brady is the undisputed. There's no argument left to have. The man is going to in football. He's the undisputed GOAT. Not athlete. That whole best, greatest athlete.
Athlete thing. I don't even understand.
I ain't talking about that.
It's ridiculous.
I'm about to say.
It's ridiculous. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about
tearing me down.
I'm talking about in football, that is the greatest player in football. Not for talent. I'm just talking about accomplishment for what he is. The greatest ever. The man is going to his 10th Super Bowl to possibly win number 7. I'm going to put this in perspective for a lot of people that are talking about that have this unwarranted Tom Brady hate. Tom Brady was the 199th pick in the 6th round of the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady, for all intents and purposes, was supposed to be a career backup. Let's be honest. That's what Tom Brady was supposed to be. He still has one of the worst combines ever. He was really just supposed to be a backup quarterback, okay? Tom Brady goes to New England and beats out Drew Bledsoe, who was a number 1 pick. He beats out Drew Bledsoe. Now he goes in, and what does he do? He manages the game. Yeah, you can. You good.
I'm sorry.
You good. He goes in, manages the game. That's how everybody's saying. He's a great manager of the game. Bill Belichick is a genius defensively, got all these teams souped up. Let's really look at the teams offensively. In what time did Tom Brady have a first-round receiver on his roster other than Randy Moss?
I'm going to go never for 500, Tristan.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted people to really understand one of the players that I always go back to when I defend Tom Brady about his greatness. Deion Branch was a Super Bowl MVP for the Patriots.
Good old Deion.
Deion Branch became a free agent and went to the Seattle Seahawks. And you heard nothing from Deion Branch. He went to the Raiders. You heard nothing from Deion Branch. Comes back to the Patriots. He's a Pro Bowler. What's the difference here? What's the difference? Then we go on and you finally get Tom Brady, a stud receiver in Randy Moss. And what happens? Undefeated record, goes to the Super Bowl. Shout out to Spags, defense coordinator for the Giants at the time. They lose, but you had an undefeated season. Then everybody wants to go for, Bill Belichick. He had Matt Castle went 11-5. He went 3-1 with Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo. He didn't need Tom Brady. Okay, well let's say this. Okay, well Tom Brady just came off of a
break it down for the people.
I'm just saying, Tom Brady just came off an undefeated season. Came in 2008 and then got hurt. And then the same team that just went undefeated was 11-5. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Tom Brady accounts for at least 4 more wins of that season. Oh, and Greg, did they make the playoffs that year? No, I think not. Okay, cool. So now, when we talk about the Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo, okay, y'all went 3-1. But then when Tom Brady comes back, what do y'all do? Oh, y'all win the Super Bowl. Oh, okay, cool. Then you go back and you have Tom Brady with an aging Julian Edelman. You have Gronkowski. You got all these running backs, and you take them and you win another Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Now we're having questions talking about this team that you're putting around him, because now we're seeing that the team is not as good and Tom Brady can't elevate it to where it needs to go. You had this team with N'Keal Harry, who at this point is a bust, and then Tom Brady took them to the divisional round of the playoffs last year. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, who has not seen the playoffs, not even seen the championship. They haven't seen the playoffs since they won the championship back in 2002. That team that went 7-9 last year with Jameis Winston, Tom Brady comes there, no mini camp, hardly any training camp, first time with Bruce Arians, first time in a new city, new system, everything, after 20 years. And he's about to play in the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots, with the same exact team that Tom Brady brought to the divisional round last year, did not see the playoffs this year and had their first losing season since when? Since Tom Brady first came into the league.
Well, I would like to personally say that Bill Belichick is stuck in the past and Cam Newton is just going to be the scapegoat of all of this. But you did nothing to give that man anything of saying who he was. So,
and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But when I look at all of that in its totality, there's no way that you can disrespect what Tom Brady has done in his career. There's
and got a chance to make history.
Exactly. And thank you, Mikkel. He brought a team that is the first team in NFL history to be the home team for the Super Bowl. Legitimate home team for the Super Bowl. For Tom Brady to do what he did, and you can't say, well, he was lucky or whatever. You don't get lucky and have Hall of Fame numbers, because we could take away the championships. We could take away the MVPs. His numbers alone gives him a Hall of Fame career. If he does not win a single Super Bowl, his numbers passing will be in comparison of Dan Marino. So he'll still be in the Hall of Fame if he didn't have the Super Bowl. I want people to give the respect where it's due for Tom Brady to do what he did. Yes, you probably could have plugged in anybody in the Patriots system, and they probably would have been successful. But there's only one man that maximized the system to perfection, and that is Tom Brady. And Tom Brady took that same mentality that he had there, the same work ethic that he had there, and brought it to Tampa Bay. And these guys are going to have a chance to win a championship because of Tom Brady. I understand he didn't look great all year. I understand he didn't look like his vintage self. But guess what? He's still in the Super Bowl. So all the other players that y'all talked about, other than Patrick Mahomes, that y'all were saying was better than Brady, guess what? Brady's still in the Super Bowl. Brady hopped over to a whole other conference and is still playing in the Super Bowl. The only things that are consistent in life are taxes, death, and Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. Those are the things that are consistent in life itself right now. And so we have to sit here, whether he wins or loses this game, sit here and pay respects, because we're never, ever, 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 I don't even think Patrick Mahomes will do it. We'll never see someone have this kind of success in a league where the salary cap matters, where free agency is happening. We're never going to see one player have this kind of longevity, have this kind of consistent championship success. He has been to 14 conference championships. 14. He has more playoff wins than I think about 12 franchises. By himself, has more than 12 franchises. We have to pay respects to Tom Brady being the GOAT. He is going to be the GOAT until someone else does it. No one else is going to do it, so he's going to be the GOAT. He's over Dan Marino. He's over Joe Montana. He's over Peyton Manning. He is the GOAT. My category for greatness, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest talent I've ever seen. Peyton Manning is the smartest quarterback I've ever seen. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And that's it.
Ashley, that's a lot to come after. I, for one, when they announced that he was going to Tampa Bay, I said, why Tampa Bay? Out of all the places you can go, Why Tampa Bay? Maybe he saw something I didn't see. He saw a budding defense and he saw some receivers that just needed a kick in the ass. I will say this, though. Watching that whole game, you know what I was most excited for? Even though it was like, fine Waldo when he finally got the ball. It was a Gronk sighting.
It was a
in
Gronk
the one
sighting.
play of the game where they needed his big behind to do something big. He did it too. And I was like, Gronk! That's the and Tony Romo. That's the first catch he's catch all game.
It was.
Shout out to that. Ashley, we've seen you. We saw you. We've been looking at you. So we know, in every sense of the word, the emotion that evades you when it comes to Tom Brady. This particular game, seeing Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, the disparity alone in this playoffs. You got 37, 40-year-olds over here. You got 25, 24, 26-year-olds over here. Which age bracket's going to win it? We'll see it all. But Tom Brady, Packers, Bucks. How you feel about it?
Oh, I feel immaculate. I feel great.
Big word. You know you don't use that every day.
Yeah. Listen, I didn't like the way that the Bucks looked defensively against Washington that first week, that wild card weekend. I just did not like what I saw. My preseason pick, or my before the season pick, was Bucks Chiefs this year in the Super Bowl. I definitely went away from that after that wild card weekend, and that was completely because of defense. Bless you. I was terrified of what Drew Brees and the Saints and Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and what they were going to do to the Bucs defense after struggling against Washington's offense. So I actually hopped off of the Bucs bandwagon that week. And you say, you know what? After analyzing and further review of the defense, they're not making it. They're not making it. And I just love when I'm wrong. Oh, God. When it comes to Tom Brady type teams and the Dallas Cowboys, please, I implore you on a regular, shut me the hell up as much as possible. Just, that's fine. I have no problem eating crow when it comes to that kind of stuff. They certainly shut me up. Once they got past New Orleans, I knew that if I saw week 6 Bucks against the Packers, that defense, I knew that they would come away with a win. And those late picks that Tom Brady threw, and well, not late picks, but those picks he threw in the second half, you got to credit the Bucs defense, man, for not allowing Aaron Rodgers and them to shimmy on down the field, because I just couldn't understand. Thank God he was throwing bombs when these, picks happen, because at that point they were just punts, in my opinion. I'm like, okay, fine. He throwing interceptions. They down at the 5-10 yard line. Fine. The defense is playing well enough that, so shout out to the Bucs defense, because they were literally my only concern the entire playoff run. And so they did well. I know now, and I have never done it before, I will not bet against Tom Brady. That's just not happening anymore. That was the first time I've ever done it. And I've been a fan of the man since he's been in the league. Y'all know that's my guy.
Yep.
So I'm excited. I love what this does for his legacy. I love that he did it outside of New England. I love that he did it without Bill Belichick. And I actually said this on my social media yesterday, shout out to his thought process and his brilliance. He didn't just leave New England because they couldn't give him any good weapons. He left the AFC because he know what that young whippersnapper in Kansas City about to do for the next decade. He not stupid. I got to go through Kansas City just to get to the Super Bowl every year. I'm going to meet for my last 2 years. I got to meet them 2 or 3 times my last couple of years.
I might have to touch Lamar Jackson too. I don't want no parts of that neither.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and look, Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't no fool. He an old man. He know what's up. So shout out to leaving the AFC in general and hopping on the NFC bandwagon.
They gave him 2 more years.
Yeah, right. Gave him some more years. And obviously, I didn't think that the path was going to. It just kind of seemed super easy getting past Breeze and Rodgers. And of course, the dominoes would fall that way, where he literally had to get past, you know what I'm saying, the top two quarterbacks in the conference for years. It's been these guys. And just, you know, of course the dominoes fell that way. He had to see them and did it on the road. So I can't say enough of the talent. Y'all already know how I feel about Tom Brady. There is no equal, in my opinion. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And in my opinion, you got to beat the best 7 times once he get this championship in 2 weeks. And I don't feel like there's anybody that's going to come behind him and win 7 rings. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes boy. What's up? I don't see him winning 7 rings. Sorry. It's just, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
You don't see it either?
Not 7. That is listen, that is.
You know,
run it up.
Oh, do you understand how crazy it is in football to pick up 7?
We're not even sure if they're going to repeat. They got there again, but they still got to win the game. It's hard to. Let's switch gears to go Bills Chiefs, shall we? Just a little bit. You guys can finish because I'm just trying to put this all in the, you know. I'm gonna get off the screen. I promise you. I'm gonna leave y'all. But let's don't make me laugh. Let's talk about Bills Chiefs, shall we? You have to give the Bills some credit. Will we see this team continue to grow? I felt horrible for my guy. The image of him holding his head. Stephon Diggs. I feel horrible for him because you could tell, and just them showing that he wanted their bad. And in true essence, as an athlete, you don't know if you'll have that chance again.
Yep.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Come on, man. I ain't got the time.
Just saying.
Will we see this Bills team continue to grow? Will we see Bills Mafia continue to be happy for years to come? Because I'd be damned if I see. We talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars and how much they suck now. Just 2 years ago, these guys was going. We just saw them AFC Championship. What the hell happened? But will we see this team continue to grow? Let's talk about the team. TEAM. The Chiefs are a complete team. Like I said, I brought up Mecole Hardman earlier, and he hid on national television. That's how much he thought of himself after that muff punt. He hid. And for them to come back and tell him, pick it up, suck it up, it's going to be okay. You're going to make a play in this game. And look what he did. They are triumphant within each other. They know each other. They're in sync. And you're playing, and the Tom Brady is great. We all know that, but they're also playing against a team that took a minute to get it together. Even though it was the first go around, it took a minute. They're still finding stuff about themselves still. You talk about that Bucs defense, Ashley. For a long time, we was waiting for Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh to show up. They showed up in the playoffs at the right time, but imagine that dominance during the regular season if they could have gotten it together, and you have Tom Brady over there that just is going to manage it to the epitome of managing football. You have one complete team that's been there before. You have young or not, and they know each other, and you have one guy that's been there before over here. How much experience? Let's talk about all of that. How much will that play into it? We're going towards the Super Bowl. Bills, what's going on? I laid a lot on you, but I know you can handle it. Please.
Well, shout out to the Bills, like you said. They look good, man, and you know, I think at a certain point of the season, I'm like, okay, yeah, they going to the AFC Championship. But I've made my mind up when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't care who gets there. You're not beating them. Specifically this year. I didn't care who made it. Ravens, Bills, Browns. Didn't matter. It doesn't matter. They toy with people. And I really feel like there's only an NFC team that can beat them. And those teams, in my opinion, was the top 3 teams, which was either the Saints, the Bucks, or the Packers, that have a chance of going toe-to-toe with these dudes. You got to be able to, in essence, if they decide to be bullies and start a shootout, you got to be able to step up to the plate and have a shootout type of game with Kansas City, because they are just ridiculous offensively. I knew that the Bills weren't going to be able to really do that. I was interested in seeing what Leslie Frazier, came up with defensively. Nothing. Shout out to Leslie Frazier. Hope my man gets some type of opportunity somewhere because they did look good. The rest, the other parts of the year, they looked fine. But we're talking about the Chiefs here. So, but yeah, they look good. They'll definitely be in contention for years to come. I don't see how you're not with Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs. I need the running game to return real quick because that went south at a certain point. I'm not sure what was going on with the running game when your leading rusher ended up being Josh Allen for these last couple of weeks. So, you just got to fix some minor things to get them back to the AFC. No further than that. But yeah, they gotta fix some minor stuff. But yeah, shout out, they look good. And in regards to Kansas City, like you said, Mikkel, they are just such a juggernaut, Joe. Like I listen, Todd Bowles, you better be in the studio right now. It's 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. It's 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. I wish I hear that this man even took a nap. He need to be up 23.5 hours of the day, finding new schemes, finding new ways.
What do you even attack?
There's
so much to attack.
You better figure it out. You better pray to Jesus.
You gotta sleep
or something. It's the only way. He can't. The man ain't. I don't want him sleeping. No sleep. Okay. He gotta find a way.
That's how you go. From now on, that's how you go.
Yeah, man. He better find a way. Todd Bowles, you better find a way because, yes, the Bucks have Brady. Yes, I'm not betting against the Bucks. I'm not betting against Brady.
So that's your Super Bowl pick, right?
Yeah, that's my Super Bowl pick.
All right.
I'm not gonna shy away from that. That's my Super Bowl pick. But man, I'm just I'm so jealous. You know what? Damn, why can't Dallas luck up and get a squad? Like, God, why couldn't Dallas luck up and get a squad?
Y'all have a squad.
Y'all do have a squad.
Like the Chiefs, we ain't got no Tariq Hill. We damn sure have a Travis Kelce.
Who's Amari Cooper?
Come on,
Who
man.
is Amari Cooper? That's a good question.
I love some Amari Cooper. We not gonna act like Coop don't disappear when they get cold. And
I got all that money and
somebody actually had to.
You had the best running back in the league.
Yep. Come on, now.
Doing this and did nothing but Henry. Don't do it. Don't you do it.
Zeke Elliott is a.
Come on now, y'all know that. I don't care how good your team looks right now. Your team don't look better than Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
You will, Kadok.
Ezekiel Elliott is a glorified. Ezekiel Elliott is a glorified fullback right now. That's what he is.
Yeah, man, he really lost his confidence once Dak went out. Look, I expect Dallas to be
the same
better
signings.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I expect
Mike McCarthy
better next year. But my God, can you
with Mike McCarthy?
If we, what's wrong? Come on, man.
Nah. Oh, let me count the.
I'm not doing this with y'all tonight. I'm not getting jumped tonight. I'm not getting jumped. I'm not getting jumped tonight. I'm not getting jumped tonight when it comes to Dallas. I'm going back to Kansas City.
You're not gonna do this here, baby.
No, I know how y'all do. Y'all jump a sister when it comes to Dallas. I ain't getting jumped.
I'm just saying, I got receipts.
We're just trying to get you to understand. You know, I'm in the same normality.
I got receipts.
You don't have nothing.
I got receipts.
Had it.
No, man.
We ain't nothing to be harping on neither.
I purposely left you alone when it came to your Cowboys this year. I purposely left you alone. I purposely left you alone this year.
I was in a bad place.
Hey, Kyrie, you need a mental month? You need a mental month?
Yeah, okay. Man, I need it, man. Look,
that's fine. We'll wait till next year.
Okay. Let us move on to the people that are continuing to play.
Yes, they're now.
Let's get back.
City's lit. They lit. So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Listen, I don't have much to say either. I share the same sentiments. Listen, this is how comfy and confident I felt about the Chiefs. I didn't even watch the game. I was watching Law and Order SVU. I didn't even turn the game on. I knew. I just knew.
Then they got out to that 9-point lead, and I was like, "Oh God, we know how this story." I was like, "We know how this story."
They scored the next 3.
I saw people saying that when they were like, it was like 9-0, and they were like, "Oh my God, the Bills did this." I was like, "Are y'all serious?" We've seen this all year. Like this happens all year. They start off slow, it gets a little wonky, and then for whatever reason the switch flips, and Patrick Mahomes out here doing underhanded passes and doing Tyreek out here being like the Flash, and I didn't even watch the game.
Real quick, Can I ask y'all two a question? Since I got y'all, pretty sure I won't have y'all together on the show for a minute, but it's coming. Is Patrick Mahomes the greatest quarterback you've ever seen with your eyes? Tristan, I think, man, you have talked about this.
We talked about this.
But Mikhail, I would love to hear, is there nobody, you've never seen anybody like Patrick Mahomes before?
We all know that I'm a Russell Wilson fan. We all know that I like Russell Wilson. Yeah. And I think Russell Wilson has done what Russell Wilson can do with nothing in certain situations. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. You will watch Seattle down by 20. And when it's all said and done, we'll know that he brought them up to win that game. There's no way in hell the Seahawks should have been able to come back from 20 to win that. There's a clutchness that's in Russell Wilson with nothing, that if you put that clutchness in Patrick Mahomes with everything, he's invincible. I think when you watch Patrick Mahomes, you watch somebody that has been taught how to not let a play die. And I think that when we watch, and we watched it a lot a week ago, a lot with Lamar Jackson, I was so upset with the critics of how they were saying that he didn't want to win this game. He was backing up at times, not even knowing if there was anybody behind him, right. Throwing passes to receivers that were dropping them, making something out of nothing. And I think when you see Patrick Mahomes, his maturation before we saw him, whoever coached him up, taught him the epitome of never forgetting that as long as you're in that pocket, as long as you're on that field with the ball in your hands, it's not over until you either take that sack, throw that interception, or throw it away. And that's when we get those underhand passes. That when we see him ducking under, if it seems like he's ducking under two defenders with the left hand, throwing it across his body. And we talk about this all the time, Tristan, being able to play a whole nother sport expands your sport in another sport. And when you play baseball, we see it in Kyler Murray all the time. And when you see it in baseball, there's just certain things that extra edge gets you, or it's like an extra pair of eyes or something like that. Or it's like watching Gumby. Like if Gumby could play football, that big green Gumby could play football, because at some point you're saying, how the hell did he throw that?
Yeah.
And I just think I can't say he's the best that I've ever seen. I just think he's magical in what he does for it not to be left as a mistake or it's over. And he just doesn't just stop there. And I think that's legit.
Am I able to answer?
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes is the best right now. As far as ever seen, I can't say that because I saw Aaron Rodgers. And we saw Aaron Rodgers this year. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP. So Aaron Rodgers is still the best I've ever seen, the best talent I've ever seen. But as of right now, like today, in this era, right now, this period, Patrick Mahomes is the best talent in football. There's no, and we talked about it, actually, and I understand your stance. I get it, because
my stance is like Aaron Rodgers. I'm like
Aaron Rodgers, and there's no question. I don't see a flaw in Patrick Mahomes. I think that's what's getting me. And honestly, I don't really see a flaw in Aaron Rodgers either. But Aaron Rodgers is older, a little longer in the tooth, so I still have Aaron Rodgers as ever because of it's really because of the longevity and the knowledge that Aaron Rodgers has that Patrick Mahomes is still developing.
Right.
So I have to put Aaron Rodgers above him on that regard. But that's the only thing I can put him above him in, because Patrick is stronger, he's bigger. I think his arm might be better. I think Josh Allen has the strongest arm in football, but I think Patrick Mahomes has the best arm in football as far as just pure arm talent, what he can do. I don't see a flaw, because he's like a Brett Favre without the mistakes. Like it's like Brett Favre without the recklessness. And so that, for me, when I I can normally look at a quarterback and I'm like, he could probably do that better. He could probably do that better. He could probably do that better. That I don't see it from Patrick Mahomes, just like I don't see it from Aaron Rodgers. Like, if you need him to tuck the ball and run around, he could tuck the ball, run around, extend plays, or run and get you some yards. Whereas we look at Lamar, we can say, okay, Lamar is the best athlete, but he has to be a better thrower. Patrick Mahomes, he can do both. When I look at size, I can say, okay, Deshaun Watson's as dynamic, but Deshaun Watson don't have the arm strength, and he's not as big. Like Patrick Mahomes could sit back there and take the hits that Deshaun probably can't. So that's a knock on him. You know what I'm saying? So I can find knocks on different quarterbacks, but with Patrick, I don't see anything where I can be like, if you get him with that, he's going to falter. So
what I would like to see. Go ahead, Tristan.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, right now, I think Patrick Mahomes is the best. As far as the best I've ever seen, it's still Aaron Rodgers. Until Aaron Rodgers retires.
What I would like to see, in any event, if this is what happens in the Super Bowl, and what I would like to see out of Patrick Mahomes, because I think, you know how, Tristan, we always talk about how people just know they got it. They just know they got it. I can turn the switch off. I can turn it on. I don't want to see you down 10 to have you to turn that switch on. I want start to finish, because eventually, as he does not make any mistakes, but it's the stuff around him that's going to crumble. It's going to be something with the team that's going to crumble. It's going to be just like we talk about Lamar Jackson. It's not him. It's everything else around. It's just everything else around him. But I want to see start to finish Kansas City Chiefs football. Start to finish. If you're gonna put the pedal on it, if this ends up to be a blowout, I want the start of that regulation to the end of that regulation. I don't want to see you behind. I don't want Patrick Mahomes to have to let me see what they got before I turn it on. Play football.
I think what's not being talked about enough with Patrick Mahomes, with why people are gushing at him at the potential of what he can become in his career. When you look at great quarterbacks, like all-time great quarterbacks, they have been throwing that football since they were like 5, 6 years old. They were dubbed a quarterback. When they were born, that's what you're playing. You're playing quarterback. Patrick Mahomes started playing football, not just playing quarterback. Patrick Mahomes started playing football in like his junior year of high school.
He's like Dennis Rodman.
Exactly. So you have a guy with not that much experience at this position, but dominating this way. So how is it going to look 8 years from now, 10 years from now, when you got a plethora of knowledge, football knowledge at the quarterback position, and one of the greatest offensive minds in Andy Reid? How is that going to look when all of that, and then he's still young, so he's not even peaking. How is that going to look when it all comes together? Because I remember watching it for Aaron Rodgers when it all kind of came together and it was like, boom, here we are. That's what I'm excited to see, is when it clicks all the way mentally and physically.
That's scary. Thank God, yes. Brady gonna be long gone. I mean,
long gone.
What I'm excited to see
and watch.
And watch it. Yeah.
We got 55, ladies and gentlemen. Get your win. Of course, this Super Bowl, COVID and all is going to be totally different. First of all, that Kansas City Chiefs crowd, I was watching COVID sitting right there. What the hell was that? I can't let the fans in the game. No social distancing.
No masks.
No masks. They was in there. And if they have any cases from this, I hope the NFL takes it a little bit. Because that watching the game was ridiculous. It was like I was growing up watching how much everybody was next to each other. It was.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was some type of like camera trickery that made it look it was more folks there than it was. But
that
you
was the crowd.
And tell me that was only 8,500 people.
Yeah, that was wild.
Somebody lying. Somebody counted stuff.
If that's 8,500 people, they wasn't just on one side. They was on plethoras.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was nasty. I mean, Rona was sitting there having a nice beer and high-fiving a couple folks in there herself. It's just ridiculous.
Listen, if all three of us would have came to that game, I would have said, listen, I'll take nosebleeds. I just need a beer. The furthest away from everybody is where I need to be.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm good.
Now I can understand maybe my only thought is possibly, you know, they're only selling seats where, you know, we have view of the fans. You know, they probably not super high up, you know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be that way, but I'm thinking probably that's why it seemed like it was so many people, because they're all kind of bunched in one
I hope so.
specific area of the arena. But, you know, Arrowhead is huge. Arrowhead is.
You got places to be to spread out a little bit more.
No reason why y'all shouldn't have been spread. Come on, man. I was like, oh, somebody lying.
The naughty NFL. When are they gonna learn, man? And it's looking like it looks like the NBA is plummeting in front of our eyes, and we can't. But we're not. We all know our pick. Well, we don't know my pick. I don't. You know, it's funny. I don't have one. I can't put my finger on it. But if I'm gonna pick, I'm going Kansas City. What's the skull? And we're out of here, baby. What's this skull? Are we going to run it up? Is it going to be 24-27? What we doing?
You know what? The Bucks get AB back. You get 2 weeks of him resting, so they'll probably get him back. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think somebody is going to be in the 40s to win the Super Bowl. Somebody got to get it.
Definitely going to be high scoring in my opinion as well. I hope I'm wrong in regards to that. I would like to see the Bucks shut it down defensively. That's what I would love to see. I know.
Who are you even shutting down?
It's the same amount of. It's the same 11 versus 11, man. How do you?
Okay, so you shut Tyreek Hill down. You still got Travis Kelce to deal with. You shut Travis Kelce down. You still got Tyreek Hill to deal with.
Sammy Watkins, Nicole Harmon, then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell. You know Le'Veon Bell gonna make an appearance in the Super Bowl.
And let me say, if I have to give let me give Todd Bowles. Let me just real quick before I even give you my score. Let me give you a hint of advice, Todd Bowles. Abort the blitz. Don't blitz. Do not blitz Patrick Mahomes. I don't get paid millions of dollars to do this, folks. So I'm pretty sure he already know. But goddamn, please don't blitz. If I see too much blitzing, I'm going to pull my wig off. Okay, this ain't even a wig. I'm just saying.
Patrick Mahomes is like a hound dog sniffing out.
Yeah, that's like he knows it's good, yo. Like, don't do it.
He runs by him like, hey, you look for me?
Right. Oh, Jesus. I'm thinking it's gonna be high scoring as well, though, Tristan. I'm thinking something on the lines of 38-35 Tampa.
Woo! All right,
38-41.
I got
Tampa.
Nah, I ain't gonna.
I'm talking about Tristan. Tristan said 41-38. Tampa or Chiefs?
I got 30-38.
30-38.
30-38. 30-37.
I want Tampa to win. I want Tampa to win because I want to see history being made. I'm a fan of when history.
You're nostalgic.
I want to see Tampa win for that reason, but I don't know. I don't know. That's gonna be tough because you really. I think the Chiefs are gonna win it, but I really want to see. I really want to see Tom get it. I want to see Tom get 7. I want to see a team that hosts the Super Bowl win the Super Bowl. I want to see all those things take place. So
I respect Tom Brady, but I'm not a Tom Brady enthusiast. I've always had this aspect where everybody would hate on Tom Brady, and I would say the same thing Ashley said. If you want to beat the best, you got to. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. But I've always had the ideology like, damn, anybody but Tom Brady. I've always had that. I come from a family of New Englanders. My mother and father are from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Right.
Oh, they love New England. They love the Patriots. They love Tom Brady. I think half of the New Englanders went down to Tampa because I had a lot of my family say, go Tom Brady, go. I'm like, well, y'all just forgot about the Patriots. Y'all just forget to stay up there. But this one's over. And I only wrote 2 notes. Ashley, it was a gift. It was a pleasure. Tell everybody where they can follow your beautiful self.
Thank you. Definitely can follow me on Twitter, AshleyBaker_21. Make sure you subscribe and check out the podcast. I'm about to hit y'all with some fire about nothing but sports. Apple, Spotify, Google, Anchor, wherever you find, podcasts, whichever is your favorite podcasting platform. I'm likely going to be there. So yeah, thank y'all for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. Look, you know, I always going to answer the bells when you call. Ramo.
It's hard to say no to me, man. You know, some people try, but
I love you.
But I would be totally remiss if I didn't say thank you. And this is off the record because people don't understand about how all of this goes. It's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, and you would think that we're not going to share secrets. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that because I don't want you to have this up on me. I want to. At the end of the day, this is a brotherhood. This is a sisterhood. If I got something that helps you, you got something to help me. There it goes. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank you. So thank you.
No problem.
And you know why I'm thanking you. The rest of the world don't need to know that, but you know why I'm thanking you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Tristan, we have one more show before we take a little midwinter break.
Little break, yeah.
We take one little midwinter break. We're human. We need a break. We can't just keep shutting this out for you all every week. We just need one little
just
day.
Pause.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Just a pause for the cause. We'll be right back. I'ma say it. Like I said every week. I don't care if it does not rhyme. It's still mine. I'm Mikkel. Like Kevin McHale. We will see you next week. America. Peace.
Peace.